Hey, I'm Genevieve, your healthy dancer. Right now I'm going to teach you my do's and don'ts of sprains and strains. So the first don't is do not stretch the area. This is the number one thing that dancers turn to when they're injured, but what stretching does is it helps pull the muscle fibers apart, and when you have a strain or a sprain, what's already happened is the muscle, tendon, or ligament fibers have already pulled apart. So stretching it just further tears it apart, which is not going to help you with your recovery time. So number one don't is don't stretch. The second one is don't heat. Heat increases inflammation, and heat also increases circulation. But while normally increasing circulation is a positive thing, when there's already blood pooling to the area from injury, then that's not going to work in your favor. So stay away from heat for at least the first 72 hours after an injury. And then the third don't is don't act as if your body is healed and ready to go back as new just because you put on an ACE bandage and an ice pack. Those are steps to help you manage. Those are not things that have just magically healed you. They're unfortunately not a magic wand. So go ahead and you need to ease yourself back into activity when you have an injury. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the do's of a sprain and a strain. So the first one is you do want to use ice, or also known as cryotherapy. That's going to help decrease inflammation in the area, which is going to help with the healing and recovery process. Put ice onto the affected area for 15 minutes immediately after injury, and then you're going to go ahead and remove it. Make sure that you always have a layer of fabric in between you and your skin. This is going to help protect your skin from ice burn. That rule applies with both natural ice and artificial ice or instant ice packs. The next do is you do want to utilize compression. Compression is so important when it comes to treating sprains and strains. Compression is going to help push out any sort of swelling from the injury that's already in the area, and then compression is also going to help keep out any swelling from coming into the area, or at least minimize it. So that's super important, and when it comes to the ankle sprain, that's specifically why we use the foam horseshoe, is to help with compression underneath this outside little ankle joint right here. And then one more do is do elevate the area immediately after injury while you're icing it. This is just going to help the swelling come out of the area and come back closer towards the heart. And then the last one is do gradually return back to activity. This is so important. Often we'll take 2 or 3 weeks off from an injury and then jump right back into ballet class and then wonder why did my ankle hurt? And almost think of it like a car, that there has to be a re-warm-up period when that car's been sitting in the garage for a long time. So after an injury, you're going to want to start with concentric strengthening, and then you're going to move to eccentric strengthening after that. And then very lastly is when you're going to do stretching. Stretching, the reason you hold off until the last piece is because stretching, again, is slightly pulling those muscle fibers apart. And so that's the last piece and the most delicate piece to restore back into your training program. So go ahead and start with those tips and tricks, and I'm excited to see how they help you guys.